Welcome to the first ever Birds vs. Boys fantasy mock draft show. We got you ready for the NFL draft, so we're getting you ready for fantasy football draft season. We're back with another mock draft, fantasy football style, 8-round mock draft. You don't really need to see us draft kickers or defenses. I think you'll be okay. We're going to have our sleepers, our go-to guys in the early rounds, quarterbacks we like, tight ends we like, everything in between. I am Aiden, here as always, and we have our producer Vince with us as well. And then my go-to guy, Eddie, with us too. The three of us will be doing a 10-team mock draft, half PPR. The rest of them are going to be simulated by bots, so that could get interesting. Who knows what they're thinking? And we'll make our picks and see what you like. All right. Are you guys ready to get started tonight?
Yeah, I'm scared this bot is going to embarrass me. Is kind of what I'm scared of.
I was worried about that too because I was like, do you think they just go best player available, or do you think they're like, you know who looked good? JJ Arcega-Whiteside, 7th round. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's somewhere in between. Who knows?
So I did one round before this, and I was 5th, and Joe Mixon was off the board, and I think he was ranked like 7th or something like that. So
okay.
I think it does whatever it wants.
That's not awful. At least
No.
I kind of like the there's almost a human variation element to it because every year people do mock drafts and you're like, okay, I know who I want when I do my regular draft with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get in the draft and somebody just throws a curveball and you're like, hold on. We all forgot about Derrick Henry and it's round 3.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
everyone listens to the same,
something like that.
Everyone listens to the same 2 podcasts, so they all have the same 3 sleepers, and it's like,
yes, like that's the other thing is everyone's like, this is a guy that I have circled, and it's like, yeah, but we also all listen to The Ringer, so this is not going to work. We all listen to the same show. We all know who to target at running back in round 4. We all know who the sleepers are. You're right. All right, so I think we'll have enough variation to keep it interesting for you and at least give you a few tips and tricks as we get into fantasy mock draft season. So let's pull the board up. Let's see what we got. We don't even know where we're picking yet, 1 through 10. So we'll find that out first.
Yeah, I'm just going to start it up.
And then I think we can follow along on our screens as well, which is perfect. So let's see where we're at. Oh, sick. There we go.
Oh, I'm first. Okay.
Nice. All right. So Eddie will be drafting 1st overall. I'll be drafting 3rd overall. And then Vince, it looks like
Jesus
you're 6th.
Christ.
So you're right in the middle.
Nice,
so before this mock draft starts, we've got 10 seconds. Do you guys like the positions that you're at?
I don't love it, but it is what it is.
No. I do love being on the turn. I'll give, like being on one of the turns, whether it's first or last or in that team 1, team 2, or 9 and 10. So Eddie, you're on the clock. We'll give you a chance right here. Who do you got?
I mean, I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor. I just am.
I do not.
They have Matt Ryan as a quarterback. That's terrifying. They're gonna run the ball.
That's very true. All right, the computer picked Austin Ekeler. I feel like that's the first level of variation that we've seen where we're like, maybe not. So I think this is pretty easy for me. I'm just going to take the injury risk and go Christian McCaffrey. When he's healthy, there's just no better combination of targets in the air and carries on the ground. So I'm just going to go Christian McCaffrey and keep it easy.
Yeah. Even if you didn't want him, you had to pick him.
Yeah, exactly. You got to take the risk. Vince, you are on the clock.
Jesus Christ. Derrick Henry's still on the board.
Wow.
Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson. I'm going to go ahead and get Derrick Henry because, I mean, who else are you going to throw to? Robert Woods? Like, what are their other options?
Exactly. They're going to run him into
Ryan Tannehill. Can't really throw him.
I'm on the board again.
Coming around the turn. This is a little, wow.
A lot of things happened.
A lot of things happened. So since that pick, Jamar Chase, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce, Nick Chubb, and CeeDee Lamb. Vince, you are back.
This does not give you a lot of time to think.
No, we should have.
Yeah, I thought 30 seconds would be enough. My mistake.
Okay. Stephon Diggs, fine.
Great pick. All right, back around to me. I hate going with 2 running backs early on. I don't love it, but I think my guy is here where I can get a little bit of a running back and a wide receiver, and I'm going to go with Deebo Samuel.
Oh, I really was hoping to get Deebo.
I was really thinking double running back, but I was like, I can't pass up Deebo.
I'm really torn Damn. Because I agree. I don't want to go running back to back. But I'm just gonna do it. I'm taking Mark Andrews. I'm doing it. I don't care.
I was thinking about it.
I don't
There's just
care.
not a lot of viable tight end options. So, and you got the swing. So now
Oh.
you get the double pick.
I hate
It's
to
tough.
do it. I hate to do it. I hate to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But I do it. I'm sorry.
All right. I am back on the clock. I wanted Alvin Kamara, but he went right after me. I think there's a lot of value in like the middle round running backs. So I think I'm going to just stick with one guy I really like here is Mike Evans, just because he's been in the league 7 years, and for 7 years he's had 1,000 yards. So I think I'll just go Mike Evans and just, same with McCaffrey. You're keeping it safe.
Yeah, that math works.
So I got AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins. Yeah, I'm always hesitant to draft Eagles, especially like in a situation like this where we just have absolutely no idea what this is going to look like.
As Eagles fans, they can double let you down.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and just go Keenan Allen.
Fair. All right. AJ Brown goes right after that. The first quarterback goes off the board in Josh Allen. And then we have 2 tight ends off the board as well in Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. Vince, you are back on the clock.
Oh, I am. So I think I have to go running back here. So I just went.
You don't have to. You have Derrick Henry.
I do have Derrick Henry, but I also have Stephon Diggs. And all right. I've never done this. I'm going to go George Kittle.
Ooh, So I'm in the danger zone right now because tight end, I think there are about 5 good tight ends. So I almost have to go tight end here because I don't know if it's going to swing back to me. And then you're really playing the gambling game with tight end. So I'll just have to do it here and bite the bullet. I'm going to go with Darren Waller. And I really think if you're drafting, it's those 5 tight ends or bust.
Yeah, for sure.
Eddie, who else would double up?
Oh, geez, guys. I don't know what's going to happen here. I really don't.
Well, that's great because you have to do this twice in a row.
I know. That's why I'm a little scared. Okay. I don't have any wide receivers. DJ Moore. A little DJ Moore.
And then on the swing for you.
I feel like I can, and I'm just talking openly because we're all friends doing a show here. I feel I can get away without taking a quarterback yet. I hope.
There's 2 off the board.
I hope.
Oh, all right. So my decision, I'll be honest, was made for me. I love Deontay Johnson. It's a tradition of mine, especially in PPR leagues. I think he'll just keep getting targeted the same way that he has been for quite some time. So I think I am going to bite the bullet that Eddie didn't want to and go quarterback. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. And I'm glad I did because Justin Herbert went 1 pick after. Vince, you are back up.
I think I'm going to go Cortland Sutton could have a good year. I'm going to go Cortland Sutton.
All right, now it's going to get interesting. You are back around. 2 more quarterbacks off the board, Kyler and Joe Burrow. So you can see where they're going. It's that round 3 through round 6 where all the quarterbacks are really starting to fly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and 1 running back. How do you feel?
I'm going Jalen Hurts.
There you go. Nice. All right, so let's see what we got here. I'm a big believer on loading up on wide receivers, but I think there's a lot of depth. Like we said, we're only doing 8 rounds, but I think there's a lot of guys later on that you can get. So I'm going to get my second running back here, a guy that I like, and an offense that I like, as you can tell by the Debo pick. I'm going to go with Elijah Mitchell. Oh, I got a little thing that tells me that's a value pick. Don't know what that means, but
I like that.
You weren't getting those in our regular mock draft, so that's good.
No. I'll take the thumbs up.
Listen, guys. I hate to do it because Kevin's not here, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Dakota. I remember the yacht. I'll always remember the yacht.
So
Oh, it's me again. I always forget that.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's how that works. But I was about to say a lot of quarterbacks went off the board right before you, so it was kind of up to that Dak spot. So what do you got? 7th round coming into a close.
Listen, I think we go best available at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Best available. This late, you go best available.
True. All right. Again, whoever team 2 is, this computer hates me because I love Deontay Johnson. I love Rashad Bateman. Don't get either one of them. Thanks a lot. So there's a few wide receivers here that are like Michael Thomas, I think, is going to have a bounce back year. Gabe Davis, I love as well. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, I really like because Kansas City, they got to throw to somebody out there with Patrick Mahomes. I think I'm going to go Juju.
I like
need
that.
running back here. I don't like any of the running backs on the board. Injured J.K. Dobbins, split carries A.J. Dillon. Something happened with Damian Harris, and then Miles Sanders.
Damian Harris is a stud.
Miles Sanders is hurt right now too.
Yeah,
So
also a
running
stud.
back comes thin, slim pickings.
All right. We're not doing that then. I'm going Gabe Davis.
And J.K. Dobbins goes in the very next pick. All right. And then, of course, right before you go, Vince, you said you needed running back. So on the turn, we've got A.J. Dillon, Ramondre Stevenson, and Rashad Penny all fly off the board. Congrats.
And Antonio, no, I'm the one pick ahead. Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Just going to do Damian Harris.
Oh, man. Adam, that is the name of this draft for me. I wanted Adam Thielen, and he goes off right before me. Should I just keep going consistent with the 49ers and just hope that they have the season of their lives and get Brandon Ayuk? I could do that. And I think
Just
he's one of the
draft the
best values
entire-
left. I think, honestly, I might do it. I
He
think I'll do
can't
it.
be. He almost can't be as bad as he was last year because that wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
They just weren't using him.
Exactly. So I think I'm going to go Brandon Ayuk. All right. So this is our last pick. Eddie, finish us off. We're only going to do 8 rounds for the people. Maybe next time we'll extend it a little bit, but I think 8 kind of sets the tone. So Eddie, what is the last pick of our first ever fantasy mock draft?
Well, I have the boy. I need the bird. Devontae Smith.
Nice. I was thinking about that as well. All right. So that's a wrap on the first 8 rounds of the mock draft. Maybe we'll extend it a little bit next time. Not the full 16 rounds, but maybe 10 to 12. But I think you get the gist in terms of the value plays early on, what we were targeting. What takeaways did you guys have from this first mock draft that we've done together?
I was terrified being the first pick.
Yeah.
That was a lot of pressure.
It's tough. I was about to say, I think this year it's really tough on the turns. It's easy to go Jonathan Taylor. And then after that, you're thinking like, wow, it's going to be a while till I pick again. And you saw that, like you went Mark Andrews in the second round, which worked because then all the tight ends, by round 4, all the top 5 were all gone. So
yeah,
it's like I got to pull the trigger on some things early when I'm on these turns this year.
No, I got pretty lucky with Mark Andrews still being available and then getting Tyreek right after.
That was a good
definitely
double.
got lucky with that.
For sure. Vince, what about you? What did you like? What did you see?
I kind of figured that this is the way the quarterback thing was going to shake out. I feel like if you're like in a real life draft, though, Tom Brady's going to get thrown up there in like the 3rd or 4th round because
There's
he
always
is.
some kid. Yep,
Yeah.
You're right.
But that doesn't really hurt anything that any of us smart people did. But the biggest, I think, just wait on a quarterback because like Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray could be QB 1 and 2 in fantasy football this year. I don't think it surprised too many people, and they went.
No.
Was that the 5th round? So I think just wait.
3, 5. Yeah, I was
6.
about to say in the 5th. So I took actually in the 6th that Jalen, Kyler, Dak, and Joe Burrow all went. That was my biggest takeaway as well. Is just that 3 to 6 range is where all the quarterbacks go off, but you can kind of find some value. So in the round 5, I went with Lamar Jackson, but again, I didn't know like what was coming back around my way, and I wanted to get my guy. A big thing that I've been doing in a lot of my mock drafts and drafts is stacking. So like I would have loved to get Mark Andrews on the turn and pair him with Lamar Jackson. I wanted Rashad Bateman, but he got taken a pick before me. stack him with Lamar. And you could see what I did with the 49ers, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, and Elijah Mitchell. So I was trying to do a little stacking. But I do think the volatility in drafts comes with how quickly the tight end and quarterback positions go off the board first.
Yeah, I agree. Now, if like looking at what happened after you picked Lamar, is there someone you wish you took instead of taking Lamar and then gotten a quarterback like Jalen Hurts or Kyler Murray later?
That's actually a really good question. So I really wanted Deontay Johnson, and he came off the board right before that. So I was kind of okay. Just looking after, I love Justin Herbert. He goes one pick later. I think that's where you're going to see it in a lot of your drafts is like Lamar, Justin, Mahomes. Allen's probably going to go a little bit before. But there's really nobody after that who really is like, I got to have this guy. Like I like Travis Etienne late in the fifth round. I like Mike Williams late in the fifth round. But I'm not like, damn, should have went with them instead of Lamar. I just think at the running back and wide receiver position this year, there's a lot of depth and a lot of breadth in the middle rounds. So when you miss a guy like ETN and it comes around and you get a guy like Elijah Mitchell, you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love my Keenan Allen pick. I was thinking I probably should have gone running back there, but looking at it now, like it was Cam Akers I could have swung on and then a giant gap until the next one.
Yeah. That's true. And you're right. I think like right before that for you, the names that you would have taken went right off the board. So again, maybe middle rounds, like we saw at the very end, like Ramondre Stevenson, Rashad Penny, AJ Dillon gets, it's almost like a 60-40 split. So he does get a lot of work. Like those guys were there. So like why reach on somebody when Leonard Fournette, Saquon, and Javonte Williams just came off the board? Like you played it right where you were like, okay, the talent that I would have went with is gone. I'm not going to reach on somebody like Cam Akers or David Montgomery. I can just wait.
Yeah, I didn't love my George Kittle pick either. I was also thinking running back there, but then look at the gap after that. It was David Montgomery right before him, and then nothing until James Conner. Like
if you're going to reach on a position this year, it's got to be tight end. I think there's 5 viable options where you're like, barring injury, these guys are going to be consistent plays. Maybe Dalton Schultz, maybe Dallas Goedert you can throw in there as like a top 7, but even then they do not have the consistency of these 5 names.
They didn't even go in the first 8 rounds. So if you're
didn't even go in the first 8 rounds, so you can wait on it. So if you don't get one of these 5 guys, I would definitely wait and pick up Goddard or Dalton Schultz. But I would really, really hone in on trying to get one of these tight ends. Eddie did it at the end of round 2. I did it in round 4. So did Vince. I think in the last draft I got Mark Andrews in round 3. But 2 to 4, it's all right to go tight end this year.
Yeah, and I think if you're watching this and you haven't done your draft yet, you get to see everything that it's a computer, so it's a little different than a human, but you can kind of see the mindset now, like you were saying, Aiden. Okay, now maybe someone's available a lot later than I thought, or someone's not available now. You know?
That's a great point. I think when we're looking at magazines and looking at rankings and just, not actually drafting, you have tunnel vision. You're like, this guy has a 4th round grade because the one article of writing that I read said he has a 4th round grade. So in my opinion, has a 4th round grade, but you might be playing with 4 people who have him as a 6th round grade or an 8th round grade. And all of a sudden you're reaching on a guy, or you have a 4th round grade and he's going off the board in round 2. So it's good to have this and this practice where you're like, okay, this puts into perspective where these guys are actually going, doing it with your friends. So there's like that human variable to it. I was a little bit worried with the computer. They took Austin Ekeler 2 over Christian McCaffrey. Like, oh no, this might backfire on us, having the bots help us out here. But I think from then on, these teams look acceptable from the bot perspective. Honestly, looking at Team 2, I actually really like it. I think they'd be all right in the regular.
I'm looking at Team 10. By week 8, 9, 10, that team's going to be insane.
Yeah.
They all got healthy or unsuspended.
Right? Yeah.
Even without them,
they went on the turn. They went Michael Thomas and DeAndre Hopkins, which is fine because they have Mike Williams, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Adams. So if
Exactly.
they have that trio to ride for the first 2 months until these other guys get healthy, they've got some depth there. Oh, by the way, they took Dalvin Cook at the end of round one of the most consistent running backs in the league. So, yeah, I think the bots did all right. So I think this is solid practice for us. I think this was like a very solid first fantasy mock draft for the Birds versus boys.
Bro, Team 10 kind of cooked. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind
Yeah.
of a crazy team.
It's a
That
really
is
good
what
team.
That team's busted.
Yes. I was going to say, listen, before the draft, it's good to pick it. Sometimes being in the middle is really rough. Being at the end, though, like you're just like, all right, I'm taking the guy who comes to me, and then I have like that double up can be so important. If the cards fall your way, this is what happens. And it did. Dalvin Cook lasted until pick 10, and they turned around and got Devontae Adams at the beginning of round 2.
Yeah.
Like anybody who's picking at the back of your draft, if you went Dalvin and Devontae, you're walking away with a thumbs up. You're like, all right, A+. What they did after that's also pretty incredible, but that's a solid 1-2 punch to begin with.
No, for sure. And I think if you're doing a 10-team or a 10-player draft like we did, I mean, everyone is at least happy with their first round pick. No one's getting the scrub of the bunch, you know?
Yeah, I think there's like a drop off after those 11, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like I'll rope Devontae Adams in there. The one thing that when you're picking in round 1, you have to decide. I went Christian McCaffrey. I could have easily went Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in that middle there, when you're between like where I picked at 3 to where Vince picked at 6, there's some questions. You know, I talked about it. McCaffrey with the injuries. When he plays, he has incredible volume. Austin Ekeler, again, like just not a big, sturdy guy. Even Derrick Henry, like they're just running him into the ground. How long can that last? Is it just easier and safer to go with a guy like Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson? Like that's a legitimate question and debate to have. And we saw 3 running backs go off the board early and then Kupp, Justin Jefferson back to back like that. It's not shocking to have it play out this way, but if Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson went 2 and 3, that also wouldn't shock me either.
Yeah.
No, I'm picking 2. I'm picking 2 on Friday, and I'm looking at this. I might go Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp. I might go Justin Jefferson.
I do. I think Justin Jefferson is poised for a big year. Not only, obviously, we've seen from the first 2 seasons he was wide receiver 2 last year, but then he takes the coaching staff from the Rams and is now the Vikings coaching staff. So instead of this archaic offense they're running, now they're running an actual scheme on offense. And he's Justin Jefferson. He was putting up incredible numbers before. Now he has actual offensive geniuses working with him. This could be wide receiver 1 this year.
Can you imagine him next year if he gets a quarterback?
Unbelievable.
Now we're talking Super Bowl.
Now we're talking. Keep that in mind for the 2023 mock drafts. All right.
Hold on. Before you end, I have one point. Sorry, Aiden. I was just gonna say, if you're picking early, I mean, it's just, we keep talking about this point, and you pick a wide receiver, all of this right here, these are the running backs you're going to be looking at for the most part, right? That doesn't suck.
No.
So I wouldn't be scared, you know, if you're nervous about picking one of these wide receivers. Look, your running back is still a pretty solid running back. Like there's no bums there.
Exactly. Yeah. So like if you're, I'm looking at team 2 now. It's just hilarious what they did going running back. But if they would have went Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson over Austin Ekeler, you'd be fine as a fantasy owner with Kamara and Leonard Fournette as your top 2 running backs.
Yeah.
You know, and then at the end, they took a chance on CEH and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And, like, you'd be okay with that as an RB3. Like, when we were drafting him at the top of draft boards last year, like, oh, my God, put me out of my misery. But now, and even after that, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, like, I like those names this year. So they easily could have went Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson at pick 2, turned around and had one of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess DeAndre Swift and Aaron Jones went right before there, but still that same area, you know?
Right.
Like that end of round 2 area is where they're falling. So you're right. I think that's a good point. So Vince, if you go Justin Jefferson in your draft, I think that's the you should have the green light to do that.
I took Alvin Kamara like 5th overall last year, so I can get him late in the 2nd round. That's
Yeah.
what
I was gonna say now you can get him 19th in this draft, and have one of the top receivers in the game to match.
Probably the top receiver.
The top, probably. I'm ready to stake that claim as Justin Jefferson, wide receiver 1. All right. Well, that puts a cap on the first fantasy mock draft that we have done. I think that played out pretty well for all 3 of our teams. I don't see any screw ups that we made this far. We'll see what they say in the comments. Feel free to comment the steals that you liked, which team you thought had the best draft. Probably Team 10, not us, which kind of sucks that we got beat by a computer.
Team
But
10
oh well.
killed it.
Oh well. So remember to like and subscribe to the Birds vs. Boys YouTube. We will be back with our regular show later this week. And then next week, we'll do this again. Another mock draft to get you ready for the fantasy season. Please like and subscribe.